Good afternoon. So, have you ever just looked in your fridge? You wanted to make sure that you cooked things and not let things go to waste. Well, today was one of those days for me. Took a peek inside of the refrigerator, and then I saw these steaks. These steaks weren't quite what I had hoped for. I bought them on sale. They're a bit tougher cut of a sirloin shoulder, and I grilled them up. They're kind of tough. So what I did is I took them out, I diced them up, and I beat them with a meat tenderizing mallet. I had an onion up in my storage area. I diced that onion up, and yep, I used the same cutting board because let's face it, you got meat here. You're cutting an onion on it. You're not gonna do any harm to anybody. Just go ahead and use it. Preserve your sanity. Now, the meat was kind of tough, so I tenderized the tar out of it, right? We have some leftover bacon grease. We collect our bacon grease because we can use it. Bacon grease can be used as oil. It can be a flavor additive, as well as, who doesn't like bacon? You add bacon to steak, you may have something good. So what I'm thinking of for lunch today is some steak tacos that are cooked in bacon grease. So why not? Let's see if we can turn something into something yum. So as you can tell, this is getting kind of hot here. The grease is moving around freely. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add the steak to that. You can hear it start to sizzle a bit. Now here's the thing. Some people will say, "Oh, that's too small of a pan." Well, sometimes I'd say that you're right. But what I want to do here is I want to keep the juices close together, and we're going to just slowly cook this. I've got the temperature back down to 4. So we're going to slowly cook it, and by slowly cooking it, I'm hoping that we can preserve some of the moisture in the meat. I'm going to add some salt here, and we're going to see if we can make some tacos. Now that I've got the bacon grease in there, I'm going to go ahead and just add in some of this chopped onion. Some people will use terms like fold, but really all we're doing is we're adding it in, and then we're going to stir it up, kind of make it even. Oh! There was something else in the fridge. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the fridge. Milk syrup. Ooh, what is this? Huh. Alright, if we're going to make tacos, let's add some roasted chilies. Now, I did these chilies up yesterday. Made some burgers with them, and there was some left over. Now, one thing I did learn, I thought I'd take it a little casually and just clean out the seeds and the white veins without putting on gloves. Well, my hand was numb this morning when I woke up from the acids from the chilies doing its job. Good news is the burning's gone. Good news is we've got some chili to use. That didn't take long. Just to cut in, and it took 5 seconds. Really spent about 1 minute dicing them up. Just dice them up to where they're going to spread around. If you only have a couple chilies, the smaller you make it, the further it'll go. Alright, so got the chilies added onto the meat there. Just going to stir it in. This is going to be kind of a hot filling. What we're going to do for fresh is, my 16-year-old, I don't know if you guys have had children, but sometimes during quarantine, when they can't do anything, they'd actually like to be a bit helpful. So he's gone off to the store. Now, it seems like this is going to be missing something here. Let's take a look in the fridge, see what we got. Okay, boy, I got a lot of milk. All right, here. I have a good friend. He swears to me that you can never have too much butter and you can never have too much garlic. I have, however, found you can't have too much garlic. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in here. I'm going to put it down on the bottom of the skillet area to kind of warm it up a bit, and then I'll fold it in. So after wrestling with the garlic lid entirely longer than I should have had to, I was able to fetch out a little bit of garlic here. Had some friends kind of getting on me a bit saying, hey, you should do a cooking video, maybe start a YouTube channel, kind of see what happens there because we all enjoy your cooking. If I did it, I would do it with the idea for everybody. Not a complicated guy. My family, we live pretty simply. We like to share good food with good friends and create good memories. But you know, we don't have endless resources. The cooking shows that I've seen involve expensive kitchens, things like that. Well, we have a very modest home we live in, and we don't try to impress anybody with anything outside of just being the best people that we can and making good memories and sharing laughter. And you can share a lot of smiles and a lot of laughter around some good food. So, kind of got that garlic in there and let it bubble up just a little bit in the bottom. As you can see like little bits of garlic folded in on top of things. Gonna add a little bit of red pepper. This right here, just spice on her. And gonna add just a little bit of zip to this. Just a few shakes. Now this is kind of like the crushed up pepper that you'd get at like Pizza Hut. You know, that's dried and crumbled. Then again, just go ahead and stir it in. Let it simmer a bit. As you can see, that bacon took a very, that bacon grease took a very dry steak. And now it's looking like it's moist. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a little bit of kosher salt. I watched a special on salt on a Google program, and it talked about like the 300 different types of salts that they have in Japan. Didn't go into detail about all of them, but it talked about different types of salts being used for different types of purposes, like iodized salts for fresh vegetables and fish. Himalayan salt works great with fish. When you're working with a more hardy substance, using a kosher salt really preserves the moisture and the juices and brings out maximum flavor. So that's why I selected a kosher salt. Now, any taco will have a little bit of runoff juice, so we're going to create some of that. So I'm just getting a little cup of water here. Going to go ahead and add this in. Looks like my helpful kiddos are back from King Soopers. We don't go to Whole Paycheck because Whole Paycheck takes all the paycheck, and then what are you going to eat with? All right.
Dad, what are you doing?
So I'm going to go ahead and just cover this on low heat. We're going to let it simmer. So I'm going to have to kind of hurry up the flavor process here. I just received a message from my beautiful wife that she's on her way home. It's my day off. I'm off on Mondays. So just to be able to develop something that's a bit richer, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add in some of this Herdez guacamole salsa. It's almost like a Swiss Army knife for flavor. It's cheap, it's flavorful, and it's versatile. So plans change. The boys brought back flour tortillas, so I guess that means we're having burritos. Can't have burritos without refried beans. So, Rosaritas, that's a cheap go-to, lots of flavor. This is the Herdez making the steak much more than it otherwise could be. So I'm just simmering this on a kind of a low simmer. Continue to soften the steak. Should be burrito worthy here. in about 5-10 minutes. So, refried beans, you don't just heat them up. That's kind of like the lazy thing. That will get you, your yard half mode. Add a little bit of whole milk to it, maybe a quarter cup, then stir it in. And then before too long, you'll have something that's creamy, yummy, and delicious. So after incorporating the milk, you can see it has a creamy texture. Yum! Look, the steak is simmering. This is going to be fantastic. So as you can see, the sauce is thickening up. That excess water that we added is going to pay off because just the ingredients themselves and the salt is going to make a nice thick, almost creamy sauce for the meat in our burritos. Oh. All right, the refried beans are starting to bubble and breathe on top. That means they're getting close to being done. Say another 2 minutes, and we'll be able to start rolling some burritos. So where a lot of people go wrong, we don't have huge burrito tortillas because, well, who needs 300 calories just from one tortilla? Is that they'll overload the burrito. Just a little bit of ingredients will go quite a long way, especially if you understand how to fold a burrito correctly. I don't know about you, but I've often been to like Qdoba or Chipotle and seen people throw burritos together and go, wow, how on earth are they going to make all of that goodness fit in there? If you notice, I'm keeping everything up at a high edge here. I'm making this for my beautiful bride. She's home for lunch. I'm going to start with a fold at the top and then tight fold on the sides and continue to roll it. By folding the sides inward as you roll it, you basically make a pocket that isn't going to leak everywhere.